All right. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Say hello. I see lots of comments already. So hi, everyone. Thanks for being here today. 121 people already. Sorry, I'm 5 minutes tardy. I never do this from the laptop, so I wasn't really sure where to find the go live thing. But I found it. So here I am. How's everybody doing? I see people from all over the place here. So thanks for joining me. Yeah, I'm looking and feeling a lot better. Had a pretty big scare there with the hospital visit. Yeah, I figured it out. Sorry, it took a minute. I'm not used to like dragging my laptop out with me because I usually am in weird places and I edit with my laptop, so I don't really take it out of the house as a just in case because there's not really laptop stores where I'm usually at. So I guard it with my life. But I figured it out. I feel good. I got like a light. I've got AC. I'm pretty. I feel like this is a whole different live chat for me. Well, I hope you like all the videos. I finally finished editing the Malaysia content. That took me forever. So I learned a lot from that. Not all content is good content, but when you're stuck somewhere, you tend to film everything because of boredom or whatever. But I finally got through that Malaysia content. And since I did have a lot of that, that allowed me to go back to nursing for a few months and edit on the side and just take a break from filming and just kind of, get in the gym, have a suntan, decompress from social media, take a big break. So going back to nursing was kind of like a vacation for me, but it also was a lot of hard work due to COVID and everything. So cheers to everyone. I'm sure it's happy hour time where you are, so I'll just go ahead and have happy hour with you. But it may be 9 a.m., but that's okay. It's an energy drink, right? It's a hybrid. More boats. Let's go. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I was known from a sailing channel. Obviously, I want to sail. That was why I was on that channel. And then I was filming me sailing and going to sailing school and all that good stuff. And then I joined another sailing channel. And then COVID just struck. And pretty much I was just stranded in Malaysia and I turned into a land channel. So thanks for bearing with me through those videos. And thanks for all my patrons and people watching those that add revenue. It really helped float my boat when I was stranded over there all alone. So thanks for watching those. I know it isn't the typical stuff I like to film, but what are you going to do? It's all I had to work with. So that's done. And I've saved up a lot of money. I did my nursing and everything. So the whole boat fund is there. So I've been shopping and I thought that I should limit myself to an area to look for a boat. But the more and more I look, it's just kind of like I'm used to flying everywhere anyways. So I might purchase outside the US. I'm not exactly sure yet. But the original plan was to purchase on the West Coast and to nurse on the West Coast. But now I'm just I'm going to look at everything. I'm really excited. So I'm in Guam right now. I did my nursing in Guam. I finished editing the Malaysia content. I finished nursing. I've started filming again in Guam. I don't really know the best way to do Guam the second time. I figured I would do a lot more underwater footage, but I landed myself in the hospital with a popped lung. So diving is going to be out for me for many months, maybe even potentially a year. So I just can't take the extra pressure going underwater. So I don't know how I'm going to film Guam quite yet. So we will see. But I'm here, I'm filming here as I'm boat shopping. I would be leaving, except for flights they're $1,600 one way to any city leaving Guam. So until I know exactly where I'm going, whether it's West Coast, East Coast, to start looking at boats, I'm just not going to leave here quite yet, just because it's so expensive. And then, you get to the States, need a car, I got to drive around, blah, 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 blah. So it might just be better for me to just really figure out exactly what I'm doing when it comes to just the next level of boat shopping, actually looking and stuff like that. And I mean, I have looked at a lot of boats along like these last few months. Like if they're here in Guam, if they were in Malaysia, I have looked and searched. And originally my idea was to come back to Guam many months ago before COVID hit. And I was going to go to Taiwan, Korea, Japan. I was going to check out all these other places around me and look at their boat yards and maybe purchase over here and sail this area. But that's just not going to work out. And I just can't wait for COVID to resolve anymore. So moving on from that plan to a new plan. So yeah, I worked in the hospital here. And then I ended up in the hospital as a patient. So I'm not even quite 10 days later from my accident. Today in my world, it's a Tuesday. So, it's been 2 weeks. So 2 Thursdays ago, I was doing anything that I normally would do. And yeah, I ended up with a popped lung. So then I ended up being a patient at my hospital, and I ran into some, ex-coworkers and familiar faces. I even got noticed in the emergency room as a YouTuber. I guess I had emailed them as well about the different hospitals and traveling agencies. So they're like, oh my God, you've totally emailed us before. I can't believe I'm putting a chest tube into you. And I'm like, me neither. So that was pretty insane. What else? So yeah, I guess maybe I could talk more about the hospital visit. So yeah, about 2 weeks ago, I was hanging out with a friend. It was a beautiful lagoon. And in this lagoon, there's about 8 boats, and they've been sitting there for I swear, 20 years. They're all very dilapidated. They've all been taking on water because they've just been rained in so much. So they're all flooded on the inside. And I know this because I went inside all of them. And they've been abandoned. They haven't been claimed. So I guess the government in Guam, their plan is to go take them out and just sink them. There's no salvaging any of these vessels. So they've just been sitting there. And if you know where I'm talking about, all the lines that go in the water to the anchors and the mooring balls and everything, and how they have them locked in this little lagoon. The barnacles are the biggest barnacles I've ever seen on any hull of any boat I've ever seen. They're just massive, which led to other injuries we got. So we were super sliced up, but we were just, hanging out on a dock, looking at these boats. We're just like, you know what? Some of those look really cool. Why don't we go on them? So I put on a life jacket. All 3 of us, we swam out there, and we get to the first boat. And the first boat is probably in between, I would say around 65-foot catamaran. And it's for day excursions. It doesn't have any berths in it. There's not really a downstairs area in the hulls. It's just this massive outside area for snorkeling, dolphin watching, sunset cruises, something like that, day cruises. And it can fit a lot of people. There's got to be 50 to 75 life jackets on that thing. Fits a lot of people. So it's very high out of the water. And this catamaran's also designed, it has a drop bridge that goes in the front, so people can walk up and down a staircase to the beach or to snorkel or whatever. You're not really getting on the boat aft in the back at all. You're walking on from the side from the dock, or you're walking on and off from the front, that little drawbridge to sand or water. So we entered from the back because it's not hooked up to a dock, and the drawbridge is not down. So we went to the back, and I did not have an air embolism. I had a pneumothorax. I popped a lung, severely deflated my left side is what happened. So we're crawling up the back, and as we're crawling up, you can't really tell that there's all these barnacles. So we're slicing the bottoms of our feet and not really our hands, thank God. And cheers, everyone out there. So I get up, everything's fine. I crawl on boats all the time, many different ways. I fall off boats, This boat was not moving, and boats always move. Boats are always wet. I was swimming. I was wet. thank God I had a life jacket on, because if I hit myself any harder, you know, or heaven forbid I hit my face or something like that and knock myself out, at least I had a life jacket on, right? I mean, I thought about this a million times and how lucky it all panned out. So I'm crawling up the back, and there's a little trampoline area. And my boyfriend, I have a boyfriend, he's on the boat. He's super strong, super big. He's in front of me. He's good to go. And I'm crawling up, and I slip. So he tries to save me. So I fall, and I knock the whole side of my body right here. And I don't really know that I'm hurt that bad. He falls, he hits his face, unfortunately. And our other friend, he gets sliced up by the barnacles on his lower leg. So the guy who got sliced up by the barnacles, he went right away the next day to get stitches. That was pretty bad. So boat number 1, he's out. He's out of the water. He's like, this is not for me. I'm bleeding. These are gashes. Wrap up his legs and everything. But me and the boyfriend, we're like, oh, we're fine. We're fine. Like, he's bleeding, but it just looks like a scratch on his nose. And I try to reset his nose. I'm like, oh, you're not smashed. You're fine. Little did we know, a day and a half later, I'm the worst one off. I was just like, wow, I hit myself really hard. That's going to be a really bad bruise, really bad bruise. So I'm just like, I'm just not going to use this arm. I'm going to life jacket. So I'm just going to keep swimming. Everything will be fine. I'm swimming. Boyfriend's really big. I can't use a ladder now, right, to get up the other boats. We go see 3 more boats. We're like creeping on, you know, because, you know, I like abandoned structures. I like boats. I can't help myself. So we just continue exploring. And I really wanted to make a video out of this. I still might fly the drone over there. I might take a kayak over there and check it out. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure our friend was saying that this catamaran was cursed. So as soon as this happened, we were just like, F this cat. Apparently, it's cursed because it's a really good size, and it can be a working boat for many different types of businesses. And every time somebody flies out to purchase this catamaran, the sales fall through. And that's mainly because the integrity of the vessel sucks. You know, I mean, you could get tetanus from this thing. You could almost die from this thing. It's probably just tens of thousands of dollars to repair it, to even get it floatable and pass for any tourist to get on there. So we go on to check out 3 more boats. He's picking me up by my good arm, you know, because I don't want to be left behind. And we explore the next 3 boats, and then lowers me down by my arm, or lowers me down by a rope, and everything's good. I swim back. I'm not asking for any special treatment. I don't feel like I have trouble breathing. Everything's fine. The night continues, and I notice that I can't lay flat. Like, as you know, the day and the night go on, I'm like, oh, I want to like lean back and relax. And I notice I can't lay flat. And I'm like, that's really weird. So I'm like, you know what? Take me home. Thank you, Ben Margeezer. Sorry, guys, this is a long story, but I kind of feel like this is the point of the live chat. So I'm just going to tell the story, and then I'll pay more attention to your comments, okay? So I can't lay back. I go home, and I wake up the next day, and I'm like, I feel okay. And I'm looking, and I'm like, there's no bruise. How's there's no bruise, no scrapes, no nothing? Almost like nothing has ever happened. And but I'm sore. But I'm like, you know what? When we were creeping around on those boats, we had a cell phone with us inside a Ziploc bag, and that at one point slipped off the boat. So we're like, you know what? Let's go back with our snorkeling equipment, and let's see if we can find that phone. So we go back to the dock, all 3 of us, and we go out, and my boyfriend goes down, first dive down, finds the phone. We're like, yeah, it's in the plastic bag. It turns on. Everything is good. It's charged. His messages are there. So we're like super stoked. So we hang up the whole day, the entire day. Sunset comes around. It's time to go home. We go home. I've been eating, having a couple beers. Everything's fine. And I go to lay down to sleep, and I can't lay flat. It's like excruciating pain on my back. I can't lay flat whatsoever. And I'm like, this is really weird. I don't know what this means. So I sit kind of in a recliner position. I put all these pillows around me and prop myself up. And about every couple hours I have to wake up. I'm just like in really bad pain. I'm just like, oh my God, like what's going on? So I in the morning, I'm like, I know that I'm going to need an x-ray. And my boyfriend, I'm like, I can't twist my body now. I've realized I can't twist at all. I can't look behind me. I like literally can't twist and look behind me at all. I can just like put my back to the mirror, but then I can't like look in it. So I'm like, is there anything wrong with me back there? Like I can't twist. And he's like, no, you're fine. He's just like, oh God, you feel really crunchy. And I was like, what do you mean crunchy? He's like, you feel like you have like plastic or bubbles under your skin. And when that happens, that immediately means that you've had a pneumothorax. You've popped your lung. Like now you have subcutaneous emphysema. So I have air in my fat pad, you know, from it escaping from my lungs, which means either that was a shit ton of force or I have a fractured rib that popped my lung. So I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I need an x-ray stat just to let me know it's as bad as it is. And then I'm like, oh no, the next step is how did that happen and how did they fix it? And I'm like, oh no, when anybody has a popped lung or broken ribs in the ICU, they have chest tubes. So my head's just going to worst case scenario. So now I'm like really, really afraid. So I ended up going, you know, I tried to go to emergent clinic where they had an x-ray to see if I could like get out of the full ER workup, but you can't. Thank you, Ralph. Cheers. Cheers, Ralph. But you can't, it turns out. I go there and they're very sweet. They didn't charge me for my visit. I waited forever for that visit, you know, in excruciating pain with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old running around. I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It was like, is this really happening? Like, how do families do this? You know, like, and they put me back there and they did. They just touched my skin. They're like, I think you know what this means. I'm like, I know what it means. And they're like, well, you can get an x-ray here or you can go to the hospital and get an x-ray. And I'm like, I just want to avoid the full workup. You know, I'm a traveling nurse. I'm in between jobs. I do not have health insurance. I only have evacuation insurance. And this isn't really like life or death situation. So it doesn't apply. I'm just like right before life and death, right? So they didn't charge me at all. So thank you, Family Healthcare Practices, the clinic here in Guam. You didn't charge me. And they sent me to the hospital and they called ahead of time to see if I could bypass, you know, the wait because I had already waited and to let them know that, you know, I did have a deflated lung. So hurry that up too and try to avoid the full workup for me because of my money situation, no healthcare insurance. So I thank you, Ralph. So I go to the hospital and now I'm freaked out. Now I'm really freaked out because you know, I'm thinking I'm getting a chest tube and I've seen that go in 1,000,000 times, right? Not 1,000,000, but enough at the bedside. But those patients are almost sedated because they're going through so much drama already in the ICU. They're in meds. They don't feel stuff. So when it was my turn to get a chest tube, I felt it. When I got to the emergency room, they're like, you know, you want some pain medication. I'm like, I throw up off of almost every med. So I'm just like, I don't want to throw up. And plus with any kind of pressure, you're just going to push more air from my lung out into my skin and I'll get more like subcutaneous emphysema. So I'm like, I don't really want to do that. It's kind of scary. I don't want the force because it was really hurting really bad. And I didn't want to throw up. So I was just like, I don't want the pain meds because I don't want to throw up. And I have a high pain tolerance. So how far can we do this? And they're like, we're putting in a chest tube. And I'm like, well, when it goes in, where's it going in? They're like, it's going to go in your armpit. I was like, okay. And then they're like, it's going to come all the way up to the apex of your lung. So I'm like, oh, that's not that far. Whatever. It felt like it went from here all the way up. Like I felt things in my body I don't think anybody should ever feel before. So they gave me about 150 Phenergan. That was it. I got Zofran twice because I was so paranoid of vomiting off of any pain medication. And they put it in, and I tell you what, I must have looked like I was visiting the exorcist because I told them to pin me down. I was like holding onto the gurney, and then I had another nurse holding onto my arm, and like people were like petting me because they're like, oh shit, here it comes. She's pretty awake. Like, oh my God. And I was like, just tell me what you're gonna do before you do it. And he's like, okay, no problem. He's like, here's the numbing. I was like, great. Here's the scalpel. Great. We're going in. Great. And then he's like, now you need to brace yourself. And I'm like, what? I don't know what they did, if it's the undermining between the tissues or what it was, trying to get the tube to its final destination or what. But there was a few times there where it was so bad, so bad. You guys better protect your wrists, protect your lungs, wear seatbelts, don't fall, take precautions. Because like I did something that I would do on any day, and I can't say that I'm not going to do something similar to that for the rest of my life. It is such a fluke how bad I got hurt just like that. And then my pain tolerance is really high. Like I went a day and a half when they took x-rays, and they're like, we suggest you get a CT scan. That way, if we do try to treat you with oxygen and you go home, you come back and you're worse and you have trouble breathing. Because I was standing at 97% and my left lung was 70% gone. It was just this long sliver of lung right here on my chest. There's nothing over here, nothing on the bottom. It was just gone. And it was really bad. Like my lung was not there. And like sometimes when I breathe, I kind of felt pressure. And I mean, this is a cavity that now my heart and lung are just like, oh, we'll just move over. We go to this room. And that's not supposed to happen. So like it'll deviate your trachea and everything. And I didn't see that happen to me, but I could kind of feel like things wanted to shift and they're not supposed to do that. But yeah, it was an eye opener for me. I've been like driving like a grandma, walking like a grandma, picking things up like a grandma, because I'm just so terrified that I'm not healed yet. And I don't want to screw it up. My follow-up's in 2 days. So I don't know if that's going to involve any imaging or just listening to my breath sounds. That was another thing. My boyfriend was like, I feel crackly stuff all down the left side of your back. I busted out my stethoscope and listened, and I couldn't hear any of my lung fields. So I listened to his, and then I listened to my other side. I'm like, holy shit, I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything. So it was like a lot for my mind to wrap around. I'm like, oh my God, this is like really, really, really bad. What do I do about it? And I wasn't really worried so much about the insurance in the beginning, but after being there for 4 days and 3 nights in the unit I used to work in with my coworkers and all the techs and stuff, and the portable x-ray machine that came in, like all these people, like I recognized all of them. It was pretty cool, but it was like so weird to be the person in the bed and you're like, okay, I'm not supposed to get up. I'm a fall risk. My lungs gone. They're going to worry about me not oxygenating and being confused. And like, it was so weird to be on the other side of things, but it went really well. I swear I got the biggest hospital room there. So the hospital that I'm at, they don't have labor and delivery there anymore. So the labor and delivery has been turned over into a med surg ward. And I wasn't critical, so I did not go to the ICU. I went to a med surg floor where I was monitored and got so many x-rays to make sure that the tube was in the right place, it didn't get dislodged, and that my lung was inflating. So for a day, I was connected to wall suction to kind of suck the air out of the wrong place. It could be in the right place, and my lung could be big and fat again. And then I was monitored longer without wall suction to make sure that I could maintain my lung being inflated so I could go home. And so now it's just a lot of breathing exercises. And yeah, so if you're just now joining me in the middle of it, my big hospital thing was I swam up to a ghost boat. It seemed like a really good idea at the time. And I had a pretty innocent slip and fall, and the trampoline there gave way. It like shredded due to sun damage, you know, and our weight. And trampolines on catamarans are really supposed to hold a lot of weight, and it did not. And I just fell right through and hit myself on the side. So I have 2 fractured ribs now. The ribs are fractured in the back closer to my spine, the T6 and T7. And then, yeah, I had a pop lung. So I got a chest tube and was hooked onto a wall suction, and I'm a really hyper person. So I had to be on bed rest for a minimum 4 days. But I had a pop lung for a day and a half before there was like any major sign of go to the hospital. And seriously, if I was some dude or like someone that, you know, didn't know about the whole Rice Krispie air pocket thingy on the back in your skin, you might have just stayed home. You know, like it's really freaky how okay I felt and how serious it was. And not everyone has a stethoscope at home to listen to your lung fields, you know? So yeah, and I came home and I've just been living off of Tylenol, ibuprofen, Motrin, and calcium. I'm 38 years old. My bone density is going down. I like to drink lots of caffeine when I edit, so that also pulls my calcium out of my bones. I do a lot of hiking and running and stuff for bone compacting exercise. So I have that in my favor. I'm not a smoker, I have that in my favor, but I would like to think I'm a pretty good, healthy person at 38 years old. But no, I had a pretty innocent fall and it got me, guys. So my hospital bill is ridiculous. And it's only the preliminary. Like the providers haven't even tacked on their costs yet. So it's crazy. It's just crazy. But I feel really good. I wanted to do a live chat in the hospital because I was so bored, but I couldn't hold a conversation that long. I was so winded. I was like, oh, maybe I can't breathe. So now I look comfortable. I can talk for maybe an hour for you guys, but before I couldn't. I was trying to FaceTime my boyfriend and, the little girls and let them know where I was. And I was just too winded. I couldn't talk that long. I could have knocked my teeth out. There's so many things that could have happened. I could have knocked myself out and been face down in the water without a life jacket. That's how freaky it is. Like this could happen to anyone. I was not doing anything like super stupid or irresponsible. Like this is just like another trek in the woods, like just another day for me. Well, how is everybody? I see that Brett, you're here, respiratory therapist. What do you think, Brett? I see Jester, you're here. Richard, you're here. Who else is here? Bimmer Geezer, you're here. Hello, everyone. Does anybody have any questions for me now that I've given my long story? Bubble wrap. Yes, my back felt like bubble wrap. It was popping. Yeah, nope, go straight to jail. Do not collect $200. No, shit, Sherlock. Yeah, I got a massive fine for this one. I'm still in Guam. So if anybody is here in Guam, I'm probably going to do a meet and greet soon here. I've been bumping into people all over the place, including the emergency room. So in the emergency room, I'm laying there. I've got my eyes shut. I'm focusing on my breathing. It hurts, so I'm crying. I got tears going, but I'm not making any noise or anything like that. And then as the tube advances, then I'm just like, I don't even know what I was saying. I think I was saying like, oh God, and I definitely remember like my hand shaking. Like I was like, this is so gnarly, but I didn't want to freak out anyone because I wanted, everything to go right. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to scare him. I didn't want anyone to flinch. So I'm just like, oh my God, it was so bad. But so once that's done, I'm like, they sit me up. They're like, can you breathe, brother? I'm like, I could always breathe. I was always studying just fine. Like none of these numbers, nothing makes sense. And I was like, actually, I can't breathe because like when the tube was going in, I kept breathing in. I was like, until I just couldn't because it kept moving. So I could never exhale. And that was freaking me out. I felt like an asthma patient where everything just goes in and they can't exhale. I was really like, that just mentally kind of like messed me up for a few minutes. But then they sit me up and like the nurse there is just like, are you LaLa Libra? I was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah. And he's like, holy shit. He's like, this might not be a good time, but thanks for returning our emails and blah, blah, blah. We've been a traveling nurse here now for 6 months, me and my wife. I was like, that's cool. So shout out to Matt. How about that? I could have tried 100% oxygen washout. No, they put me on oxygen. I was on oxygen for a long time. I was on the wall suction. And then after that, we took me off wall suction. And they're like, do you want to now just clamp your tube and take you off the box? And I'm like, what's the point? Just pull the whole thing out. and then monitor me for 2 days versus clamping me, monitoring for a day, letting me go home, something goes wrong, and I do the whole workup again. So I was like, I'd rather be monitored, just pull it out, and monitored me for 2 days. So they did that. And then I was on oxygen at least all night when I slept. That was my regimen. And that incentive spirometer, if you ever see this, people, ever see this, do it. This will save your life. I don't care how stupid this thing looks to you and how easy it is. This is like the gym for your lungs. Okay, this is how you don't get pneumonia. This is really good. When you're laying in a bed and you're not doing anything for a long time, this mimics walking, running. This is your exercise. This is so you don't get more effed up in the hospital. This is your best friend. And thank you, Regional. They gave me the last one. They don't have all the medical equipment in the world, and we're on an isolated island. So I really appreciate that I got the last one. And people just, they're given those and they don't even use them. So I'm really glad that I got one and I really use it. And I'm proud of that. Still need that Bitcoin address. Oh, really? Mr. Bolins, you want to send me some Bitcoin? Sweet. Stay away from old boats. I know. Like, I really wanted to go back. Like, it just gave me more motivation to go back so I can like capture how cool it looks. It looks so cool. Like, it's like my dream abandoned structure to go play on, you know. There was 6 of them. And the thing is, so that happened that night. We went back to find the cell phone. I put the life jacket on and I swam out there again and looked at 4 more boats with a deflated lung and 2 broken ribs. No clue. Had no clue I was in that much trouble. No clue. And so the first thing that I took away from that was my pain tolerance is too scary high for my own good. Like, it's just not okay. Like, I was in real trouble and maybe my lung was less deflated, you know, like if I would have went in, like say that happened that night and went in that next morning, maybe I would have only been treated with oxygen, you know, and bed rest. But I didn't know because I didn't feel anything. So then a day and a half later, I end up at the hospital and then I get admitted for 4 days. So pain tolerance is not helping me out. I've had a couple surgeries before and I came out of anesthesia. I didn't need any pain medication whatsoever. And that's just abnormal. It's very abnormal. Somebody says they're same age as me. I am boat hunting. So I would like to think that, you know, thank God for nursing and thank God for travel nursing. You know, they give me an apartment, they give me a car, there's stipends and stuff like that that really take care of your living costs. So I'm able to save a lot of money with this, with my career that I have. And then YouTube definitely, you really helped me out because, I mean, somebody even made a video of me. How much does LaLa Libra make on YouTube? And I think that everyone should watch it. Like, I'm not rich off YouTube. I'm not rich off Patreon. But what it does do is when I'm in places like Malaysia, Malaysia's so cheap. Like, you get by. It makes it all worthwhile for being somewhere for a few months. But because like, coming back to nursing and all that, and anyone that's bought my calendar and all that, my boat fund is here. So I can get a really nice monohull, which I am looking for. And the monohull I'd like is like 36 feet to 50 feet monohull, right? Because I want to cross oceans. Sure, anybody can get a 20, 30 foot sailboat, but you know what? I don't want to sail that in the middle of the ocean with lots of waves or even 2 different types of waves crossing each other. It's just not going to be a fun ride. It's not. And I'm into sailing for fun and going places for like the hikes and exploring places, you know, like sailing's a way to get to cool places. And that's why I really like it. I also like, I get to move my home with me. I'm so burnt out of airports and packing all my luggage and then getting to the airport. And it's always some kind of drama. This weighs too much. This is too big. And I'm like, it's my job. These are my fun things. I'm not going for the weekend. I'm going for months. This is my whole life in a couple months. And having this blah, 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 blah. And it costs, you know, an arm and a leg. It's like, essentially, there's my flight. And then my suitcases almost cost just as much for me to go with me. And it's just dumb. So I'm excited to have a boat and to have all my junk with me and to not feel homeless. I've been feeling homeless since Alaska. That's the last time I really had a residence. And it's just a lot of bouncing around, a lot of flights. And I'm just really looking forward to having a home and nesting, like finally. But yeah, what else we got going on here? My adopted pup, I love that puppy. That puppy in the last video was a tiny pup, and I didn't ever really pay attention to what was happening in the parking lot. I was always in the pool. I would edit all morning till about noon, and then I go in the pool, and then when it hit dinner time, I go on my walk and try to find food because hopefully more stuff was opening after the massive lockdown. So I didn't really know what was happening in the parking lot. So I went on my 1-month road trip and came back, and a lot of the people that lived in this hotel the same time as me were leaving, and they're like, oh my God, who's going to take care of the puppy? We need to share this responsibility because the mom left. And so I was like, well, my door opens right to where these puppies are. And I saw people just coming and dumping food at weird times. And I was like, you got to be consistent if anyone's ever going to get close to this dog. So I already had this stray cat adopt me because somebody else left. So this cat moved from one side of the hotel or resort, the pond area, over to the pool area where I was. I just like started squawking, and she claimed me, the cat. But the cat's been there for a long time. The cat's fixed. So the cat still lives there. Some people were asking about the cat. The cat is a resident of Casa Loma. She likes to walk into the rooms there and just check people out, get snacks. She loves to be loved on. So she's still there. The puppy was adopted, and the puppy and her brother just had no chance at life. So every morning when I get up, when the sun would come up, I would go hang out, have a coffee, listen to the birds. Thank you, Andre. Cheers. And I would feed the dog and the cat. And I just started talking to them and saying stuff and like trying to get close to them. And then, the dog eventually chose me. And I only got to touch that dog like a week before I left. I spent so much time with this dog, feeding this dog twice a day, every day at the same time, trying to use like the same words, get her to trust my voice, looking over the fence, getting closer, but the fence was in the way, and earning her trust. And then as soon as it was fun having the puppy, I took her to the vet when she was supposed to get fixed, but she was actually had a swollen leg. So we got her swollen leg fixed and her fleas and ticks and stuff addressed and heartworms. And then this lady who rescues dogs in Langkawi with her kiddos, she came and adopted them. I was waiting for my cab, and I don't really see white people that often. So like all of a sudden there are these two little white kids that walk by, and I was like, this is really weird. And then I saw the lady and I was like, no way. Are you here for the dog? She's like, yeah, well, if the dog comes to us and we can get him in the car, then we'll take her. I was like, no way. So I walked out, and the dog just actually let me get that close to her, and I put the leash on her, and she just sat down and let them pick her up, and she rolled her over and showed her belly, and she's like, well, take her home. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm waiting for my cab. I cannot believe this, such good timing. Cheers, Jason. Thank you. So I was so afraid for this dog. I put so much work into this dog, all these months and feeding her and everything like that. And so I built her a dog house and was just like, all right, I guess Scuba Squad, you're on your own. Because they used to take care of this dog's mom, and then she just kind of ran away. So I'm like, well, the dogs were delivered and they lived underneath the Scuba Squad shack. So I'm like, maybe you can take care of this dog. I'll get you a dog house. I'll put a bowl there and check on her every few days. But she is a stray, so she's not really your job. She kept me good company. And then the lady came to adopt her, and she took the doghouse. So that doghouse now, I put some stuff up on Facebook, and I think I linked to her way a long time ago. She does take some donations, but there have been so many puppies that have been born and lived in that doghouse. That doghouse was like 90 ringgit, which is like $20, $22 it cost me to make that. And she's utilized it like you wouldn't even believe. So that makes me feel really, really good. So yeah, the getting back to the boat, yeah, there's the monohull. I have cash for a monohull, but then also it's just like, well, I have a job, and if I work consistently, maybe someone will trust me with a boat loan. So maybe I can put that down on a catamaran and just move into the dream boat. And part of that is because I don't want to live by myself on my boat. I want to kind of start a family. So it's like, be on the monohull healing, family might hate sailing. Be on a stable catamaran, family might like sailing. So I'm going to see what happens with looking for the dreamboat catamaran as well. So that's why it's taking me a little bit longer. It's because I didn't think that a catamaran was possible for maybe 5 more years. And now I think it could be possible. So I'm going to go ahead and research that thoroughly before I make my decision. Do I have any brand of boat on the top of my list? So for monohulls, before I came to Guam, I found 1 cat and 1 monohull. Both were in Seattle, Washington. That monohull was a Hunter. I had never sailed a Hunter before, and I was like, wow, how do I not know about these? So, I mean, I think all the, what's the right word for it? Like Beneteau, Hunter, all the most likely names, I kind of gravitate to them. Bavaria, things that I've sailed before, I check out those more because I am online. I haven't actually seen the boat. So when I do leave Guam and I can actually see the boat, I think that might inspire me to look into other makes, models of boats. How far am I going to look for a boat? Well, COVID has really messed up everything, but it also could work in my favor. So like, no one can get into Thailand. It's like hit and miss. You can go to Phuket for 1 month, but you have to stay at a 5-star resort. I don't know if that's still going on, if you can go into all of Thailand. But because people can't get back to Thailand, they're all sailing their boats. They're selling their boats. So there's a lot of catamarans in that area that are going for cheaper. Also, French Polynesia has a lot of discounted boats as well. And that's partly because you just can't get back there. Or I was looking at flights to French Polynesia, going to Tahiti, because I was like, go to Hawaii, go to Tahiti. Where do I want to go? I went to Hawaii because there was no connections. And that's what kept me stranded in Malaysia. All my connections got jacked up. I couldn't get back to the States. There's no direct flight from Malaysia to the US. So I was kind of like, I opting out of any flight that has a connection these days because I just don't want to get stranded again. But French Polynesia Tahiti has a lot of really good catamarans. So if anyone's just like, you're ready to sell everything and relocate and do your quarantine or whatever and bring a ton of cash with you, French Polynesia might be the place to find a catamaran. You might score a really good deal there. Also, Pattaya has a good handful. But there's so many rules on how to get into a place and the visas and whatever. I can't possibly research that for every country that has a boat listing. So, but if I see something I really like and I can send it around to people that I trust that also look at boats and they're like, this could be the one, I might fly and do the 10-day quarantine and then go take a look at it. I'm pretty open to everything. I'm single. I can go anywhere. I can do anything, right? That's the beauty of being single. But I can't fly right now either. I can't dive and I can't fly because of my lung. So I'm kind of stuck here for a while, no matter what. I could sail out of here. It's about the only thing I can do. Because the pressure on your lung with the pressure of the water or going up is not good for my lung right now. I'm definitely in a healing process. It's a seller's market for catamarans, not a buyer's market. I feel like it's always a seller's market for catamarans in the Caribbean. I could be wrong. Hunter 42 on the Great Lakes is very popular. Those Hunters are a lot more popular than I realized. I really like them too. Oh, thank you. It's been really nice to do a live chat, with actually my hair done and some makeup on and just not have my poodle hair look. How did I meet my boyfriend? He was actually my neighbor. And it took me a couple months to bump into him. I mean, single as in not married. Yes, I'm still with the man and the young family here. So I don't know if you can see this is my house. This is where I live. This is where I have been living since Halloween. And yeah, so I've got like unicorns and dolls and coloring books and dress up stuff for princess attire there in the chest. Got a little castle here with all the stuffed animals in it. Got all the bright colors, the pinks, the purples, everything for the girls, unicorn, everything. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I like this whole like mom life. It's so much fun. It really is. Like, they're up early. They want to play all the time. They're always down to go swimming. The 4-year-old has her, they both have their own snorkels and masks. But the 4-year-old is just, we put it on her and she just immediately just started diving down in the pool and in the ocean and like grabbing things and coming up with shells. We have all those like submergible toys. We just throw them everywhere but the deep end. We have yet to do the deep end yet, but she likes to throw them in the deep end for Dad to cook in them. But got rings and lizard tails, and we throw pennies and all kinds of stuff, and she just goes down over and over and over and over to get them. So it's been really cool to see how much she loves the water. And the 2-year-old, she'll jump in anywhere at any time. Cannonball, she loves it, just over and over and over. So you got to keep your eye on her. So they do have life jackets, and there's no running by the pool or anything like that. They love to make sandcastles. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. It really has. It's just been a whole different like lifestyle for me. So yeah, I'm sure you'll meet the boyfriend soon. Oh, I bypassed the early crying days. There's still plenty of boo-boos and crying. I mean, I rarely use a Band-Aid. Now I've gone through 2 boxes. Just like all the dolls, they have boo-boos. The stuffed animals have boo-boos. I have boo-boos. Like every boo-boo has to be addressed now and kissed. And I think that's pretty precious. I'm finding Band-Aids everywhere now. And Ross is like, we have Ross and Kmart here. It's like your go-to for everything. There's no Walmart. There's no CVS. So you go into Ross and you never know what you're going to find, but it's like always $5. So there's this little Barbie setup thing. It's got this little play stethoscope, and you can check the ears and a blood pressure cuff and a shot. And so now like all the princesses, the princess dolls, we've got Elsa, Anna, and Rapunzel over there. Cinderella's somewhere down there. And we've got Ariel, got all the mermaids in the bathtub and stuff like that. But they all get their checkups now. And I mean, I love watching them put the little stethoscopes and blood pressure cuffs on the stuffed animals and the princesses and put the Band-Aids on. I'm like, yeah, check them. And then like when I got my boo-boo, so I've got my Tylenol, Motrin, and ibuprofen and calcium, the boxes that the pill bottles came into. I gave them the boxes, so now they have medicines to give their dolls too. And I just love how smart they are. They're just like, oh, you have a fever, you need Tylenol. I'm like, you know that? So I really like that. They're really smart. We play memory with them, and the 2-year-old was pairing cards, and we were like, no, you can do that. So it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Does a boyfriend work on boats? The boyfriend has a lot to do with boats. The boyfriend was in the Navy, so he knows things. I want to read a joke. Do I dare ask? Where am I staying? I'm staying in a small building in Guam. It's a studio apartment. So you're on my laptop, so it's not, I mean, I could do the swivel. This is my room. My apartment's in the shape of an L. So that way is the door and the bathroom, and then the couch. And then I'm at the dining room, and that way is fridge, crock pot, BS little kitchen setup. I have not had a kitchen. I was in Malaysia for 8 months, and I've been here I've been here 6 months. Not had a kitchen for 1.5 years. I've been using a bathroom as half the kitchen, and then my bedroom living area as the other half of the kitchen for a year and a half. So tight space, but I'm happy. In the end, I do this to save money so I can have a boat. So it's worth it for me. Pirate life for me. Pirate life for me too. Somebody else has had a collapsed lung. You needed surgery to blow it back up. Yeah, when I saw the CT scan and saw how deflated it was, that took me to a whole different level of scared. I was like, oh, I might be getting a chest tube. And I'm like, I'm really getting a fucking chest tube. I might be getting surgery. I'm like, oh my God. And I just felt so bad because I called my parents right before I went to the hospital. I'm like, I just want to let you know I fell and my skin has, the little bubbles in it. And Mom's like, oh no, for real? I was like, yeah. So I'm going in and I just want to let you know, heaven forbid anything bad happens to me, but I want you to know where I am. So I don't call you in like a day or so. You know where I am to check on me. So that was pretty tough to make that phone call. Somebody did 22 years in the Navy. He can't be bad at all. He did 12 years in the Navy. So that's pretty good time. Pretty comparable there. Okay, approximate size of a catamaran. So the catamaran can be smaller than the monohull. I would think anywhere in between 32 and 40 feet would be super sufficient for me. Hi, Marie. So happy. I'm happy. I think I'm the happiest I've ever been. Super happy. Even recovering with a pop lung. Everything's good here. No complaints. Am I going to take another assignment in Guam? So I was going to go to the hospital yesterday. And then I was going to go to the hospital after this live chat and just see what's going on. Maybe alternate hospitals. But that clinic I went to that didn't charge me, they really went over my heart. So I think I'm going to go there also with my resume. Because if I'm going to be stuck here, I might as well do something part-time. Clinic, there's not going to be any rolling patients in the bed. I don't think I can do that right now. So maybe clinic would be a better job for me in my current state. So I'm not straining. I have 2 fractured ribs. I'm taking my calcium. I'm trying to rest it. But it's weird because today is the first day that I put a very loose sports bra on myself. I could not dress myself. I had to ask for help. I couldn't even get my pants on. Yeah. And if you can't twist, never mind. I did not have COVID. No, I did not. COVID still exists. Knock on wood. No, I didn't have any COVID. They swabbed me because if I was going to go in the OR and I had COVID, I don't even know what the rules would be. But when I was working in the hospital, you don't go into the OR with COVID. They don't risk contaminating their OR here at the hospital that I was working at. So I tested negative for COVID last week. So far, so good. How was I in the States in December? I went to Hawaii for New Year's, but I was not in the States in December. I can't hit home. This injury keeps me out of planes and out from under the water, so there won't be any going home. I have a follow-up appointment in 2 days. And I don't know if he's going to do imaging or just listen into my lung sounds or just look at my little puncture site here or what defines my status of my lung. Because I've never done follow-up visits. It's something you don't see when you're in the ICU. You see people on their worst day and then you have them move to other units as they get better and you just never know what their healthcare plan was and how they get discharged. You don't really discharge people from the ICU. So this is gonna be new for me. This is my first time being admitted into the hospital and seeing the whole process and being discharged from the hospital. And now I get a follow-up. So this actually does give me a big, clear picture of what every patient that I see goes through. And yeah, so I mean, I'm really trying to see the silver lining in this. Yeah, so this will affect my scuba diving in the future, most definitely. So for me right now, I had all these plans of things that I wanted to film in Guam, and I just don't know if I should even do half of them, like honestly. But since I have a boyfriend, I was like, you know what? We might follow through with some of these like filming plans, but you're just gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to go into the water and you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to help me out because I can't do it. Because we're still here, I'm still stuck here, so we can still film. So somebody's asking what happened. I swam out to some ghost ships to go explore some dilapidated structures because that's just what I like to do. I like to explore and adventure and check out, creepy things. And we went and I had an innocent slip and fall. And I landed. It didn't knock the wind out of me or anything. There was no red flag and, oh, you have cracked ribs. Stop. Go back to the doc. Go to the hospital. There's no signs whatsoever of anything. I was just like, wow, that's going to leave a bruise. Carry on with the rest of the swimming and checking out the next couple boats. And yeah, I ended up fracturing 2 ribs and I deflated my left lung. So I went to the hospital for 4 days. Hello from Riverton, Wyoming. Woo! Well, my first stop from Guam will be Wyoming. I will be coming through there hopefully this summer to see my family. I would like to go see my family in the summer in Wyoming, not always the winter. The winter is very hard to get home. I love going home for Christmas. It's very hard to get home. Yeah, ICU nurses do rock. They do know a lot. And it's been interesting interviewing for ICUs because ICU positions, because they almost expect you. They're like, if you can't call the doctor out, then you can't work here. And I'm like, holy shit. They're like, you really need to know all your shit. And I'm like, damn, how many patients do you have out there? How sick are they? How many things are going on? Like, what's your ICU like? It kind of freaks me out. But yeah, the nurses in the ICU, they know their stuff. They really do. They're really awesome. Be careful, too much strenuous activity too soon can collapse a lung. Again, I have that t-shirt. Yeah, so now that you've had one pop lung, you can do it again fairly easily. So that's why I'm like, I think scuba diving could be out for me for a year. I mean, I'm not in my prime anymore. So I might need to give myself some extra time to heal and just to fortify itself. So there it is. I'm not going to be like the ATVing with a harness, skydiving with a harness, going underwater, deep dives. I don't think I'm going to do a deep dive for the rest of my life. It's just not worth it. I'll just keep myself at like 75 feet, 65 feet and shallower, which is a bummer because my favorite dive was SS Coolidge in Vanuatu. And we went so deep. I think we went like 120 feet or something like that. It was this massive cruise ship that was on this like cliff descending down, and the tanks in it. It was so cool. And there's this like lady statue on top of a fireplace. So if you went on this dive and you got to see the lady, it was like a big thing that you should be proud of. And I got to see that. And I think dives like that are out for me now. So that's a bummer. But I want to breathe for the rest of my life, Yeah, so there's all kinds of people here. Boston, Colorado, New Zealand. Hey, everybody. I love that. I love Wyoming's in the house. Thank you so much. Bikinis are normal attire now. They definitely are. I went to the beach a couple days ago because I got a drone. And it crashed. So today is May 4th. I get new blades on the 10th. I guess I learned something. It wasn't my flying that crashed it, but where I chose to take off and land was not that good. And what I probably should have done with this drone is known exactly how long the fly time was. And maybe even like had a watch and like alarmed me so I would know. Because I was flying over the ocean And I was just kind of learning it, but I was like trying to learn it in such a way that I could keep the content. And suddenly it was just like emergency land. Like the battery was like dead, and it lands right then. It doesn't just like beep at you for 3 minutes and warn you and let you like land it yourself. It's like, I'm landing now. And it like does this just erratic, just fly right back to you. And you're like, whoa. And then it goes way up high and like tries to GPS. And I'm like, that was unnecessary going that high and just burn the battery. So then I'm trying to pull it down faster. So I pull it down faster and I'm letting it hover. And then my boyfriend like spread out the towel to make sure it lands just right. Well, apparently these blades are spinning really super, super fast. I've never seen this before with all the drones up and down, up and down, up and down. And the blades just, it flew the blanket, the towel, like 50% of it just fucking flew it just out of the way. So then it landed on the sand, which caused it to like tilt and like hit a rock and break one of the blades. It wasn't that bad, but the drone I bought didn't have any extra blades, and I'm in Guam, so it takes a long time to get them. Not everyone ships to Guam, so it was like, then Amazon thought it wasn't me because it was Guam. So it was not easy to get these blades, but they're coming. They're coming. So I will be joining a lot of Guam. Guam is so beautiful, so beautiful. And I didn't have any drone footage from the first time I was here. So I'm really hoping to capture that. The first time I was here, I did a lot of land videos because I was getting used to doing A-roll and getting all different angles, and I didn't have a drone. So I didn't incorporate that yet. So this time around, there will be lots of drone footage in these videos. And I think I'll send the boyfriend down doing the diving for me because I did so many land videos. I felt like I should have water videos this time around so I don't like duplicate anything. So there'll be lots of drone and lots of water in these videos. I'm not nitrox certified. It's looking more and more like I'm not going to do that. It's looking more and more like I need to get into like cave diving. I keep finding myself in caves, whether it's on land without water or like there's just caves and swim throughs everywhere that I'm at. So it's like I better just get more knowledgeable about that. But I don't think I'm going to be in diving equipment for a while. Yeah, you need backup blades for your drone. You do. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. Oh, thanks, guys. I know I'm like super blonde now. How about that? Let this guy dye my hair. And he took it to a whole new level of blonde. I was like, I would like to be nice and blended. And he was just like super blonde. I'm like, whoa, thanks. The boyfriend, question mark. The boyfriend's at the gym right now. He likes to work out. He's good looking. The boyfriend does have a name. You'll find that out later. That's a whole new live chat. Maybe I'll drag him on the next live chat for you. Send the boyfriend the water as shark bait. He likes sharks. So yeah. We'll see how that works. Yeah. So I got some sparkles on. Woo. Yeah. There's the sparkles. Oh, there's the Princess Castle. Check it out. I've always been blonde. I just went brunette for the whole sailing because there wasn't like salons where we were going on the Pacific crossing in Southeast Asia. So I took blonde away for a long time and just started putting red in my hair, fiery personality. But yeah, back to blonde. Hey, what's up? Well, this live chat has been going on for an hour. And I've done pretty good. I think I had a little list of things I wanted to talk about here. Thank you, everyone, again, for watching all the Malaysia videos. I know it's not the typical stuff that I'd be filming, but, you know, what are you going to do? Ports were closed. I was stranded somewhere for 8 months. I made the best of it. I learned a lot, too, from that footage and different angles and having the monkeys steal my cameras. You know, a lot happened with that footage. There are a lot of lessons that I learned. So, thank you for your patience in watching those. And I got a lot of practice. I think in the long run, it was good. And yes, I did come back to Guam. I did nurse here again. I've worked at both of the hospitals here now. I am here stuck now because I have a collapse. I had a collapsed lung. Okay. It's been 2 weeks now. My follow-up is in 2 days. And so no flying, no diving for me. So I was thinking about going and getting a part-time job. I am filming Guam. So if you see my Guam videos, they're mainly land videos, and I'm hoping to do a lot more droning and underwater videos. So more aerial and underwater. That way it's a whole different flavor. So if you haven't seen my Guam videos, there won't be any duplication of content. And yeah, I got a new drone because I was only supposed to come here for 8 weeks. Fell in love with it. Didn't want to leave here until COVID was solved and I could buy a boat. Didn't want to leave here until my Malaysia content was finished editing because I wanted my next chapter of this channel to be me boat shopping and getting my boat and moving on with my life for you guys to see. So I am still here in Guam after all this time. And I had to buy a drone here because I didn't bring my camera equipment here. I was not planning on filming Guam again. So surprise to everyone. Also, I was not planning on finding a boyfriend here. So that's another reason to stay. So I am currently boat shopping. I am looking for a monohull. I am looking for a catamaran. So I'm open to a lot. Hey, Scott, what's up? Scott, you're from Guam, right? Hey, give me a yes. You were supposed to take me diving, weren't you? Not diving anymore, Scott. The Malaysia series will forever be special to me because that's where my lockdown was. And I was on lockdown with like a lot of backpackers, like suddenly, randomly, rich, broke, all walks of life, all different countries. We were just suddenly there together. And it was like suddenly we were a family coping together. And, you know, it was really cool. It was really cool. Malaysia was, for being a Muslim country, they were really cool. Like when I left the island, obviously I dressed differently than when I was on the island, but you know, there was just a very obedient culture. You know, they respected the COVID rules, so it was a very safe place. They weren't too strict on me or spat on me or any kind of violence. You know, like I felt very safe there. You know, they were aware of cultural needs, not just their own, and religion and stuff like that. The food was great. It was great. I'll forever be grateful for Malaysia and their hospitality during all that, because it could have been very different. I could have been somewhere else. You know, it could have been harder. It was also a very cheap place for me to live that long out of a hotel. And then, yeah, guys, I went to the hospital and kind of messed up my left lung here. And I'll find out in 2 days, you know, how good at bouncing back I am at age 38, you know, what I'm looking towards for my recovery path. Right now, I'm just going to go ahead and say diving and flying is out. What else do I got? Yeah, the lung thing happened because I was exploring ghost ships, abandoned boats. And the first one got me, but I did explore 8 different boats. And that was a lot of fun. So I guess even though I got hurt, I still, goal was accomplished. I got to check them all out and look at them. The wood is just like disintegrating, the holes, or you can see like just how sunken they are. And I guess sometimes the government has to come out and like pump some of these boats out so they don't actually like sink any more than they already are from the rain that's coming in. The hatches are open. They're just not maintained at all and totally abandoned. And I wanted to originally release a video like every Tuesday and do a live chat every Friday. I'm doing this live chat this Tuesday because I was in the hospital and I have not got a video edited whatsoever. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being here for an hour. That's really going to help me out for minutes and all that, keeping things up. I haven't really had a chance to go run around or do anything. And then I tried to, but I crashed my drone, and I won't have a drone for at least 6 more days. So thank you for being here today. And next week, there should be a video on Tuesday. And my idea with these live chats, so they don't get repetitive, is I will try to do them once a week, but I'm going to take the old one down. That way, no one gets confused. So the last live chat was deleted, and all the previous live chats, that playlist might disappear. So if you want to binge on my live chats and kind of hear the reasoning of why I've jumped from where to where in between all these different playlists between Guam and Bali and all that jazz, binge on them now, because I plan on taking all live chats down and just having the one current one kind of ride for a week. That's kind of my goal with those. And that's because there's confusion. And I've worked really hard on trying to make my Instagram and my Twitter and my YouTube channel all match, so my timeline makes sense to the viewer, so it doesn't seem so schizophrenic. And I hope that you appreciate that, because I really want Instagram, but then I have to be patient and be like, no, that hasn't happened yet in YouTube world, So I'm trying to make everything make sense to you a little bit better. So I hope, you appreciate that. So that's pretty much my plan, is to see y'all here every Friday and have my normal videos come out every Tuesday. And message me anywhere you want. I do get a little overwhelmed with messages, but I think the reason why we're all friends and you follow me is because it's always been very interactive. So keep messaging me, even if you don't get your response for a couple weeks. It just means I'm trying to figure something out somewhere else. I mean, I've been trying to figure out videographers, photographers. I've been trying to figure out my camera equipment a little bit better, editing world a little bit better. I've been trying to look for more music choices, so my videos, because I feel like my videos, because I listen to so many songs and choose the music to go in them, that I'm choosing the same thing. So I'm trying to find other places to get music so it'll be like more fresh, because I feel like right now the next video starts like a new season for me. It's a whole new thing, because I've had such a long break from filming. So I'm really hoping that it'll be new and exciting for you, and you'll see the difference. It'll be less amateur, that's what I'm hoping for. How long have I been in Guam? I've been in Guam since Halloween. My flight landed Halloween. I did not wear a costume this year. My whole goal and my whole recovery process is, my grandmother just passed away, and she has her funeral. We're from really cold states, Minnesota, North Dakota, Wyoming, so you don't really have funerals in the winter. So we're going to do, our big thing for my grandmother in July. So I have a lot of motivation to make sure I do my breathing exercises and some light cardio and not really jump too hard and rattle my bones because I have fractured ribs. But my goal is to really get home safely on that flight mid-July. So mid-July might be when I'm pulling the trigger and buying a boat, because I'll be leaving this home you see here and seeing my family, and then I have no other place to go but to get a boat. So I'm really excited for that. I'm so excited for that. I feel like good things come to those who wait. And I have been working on this for like over 10 years. So yeah, before 2010, long time. All these hobbies that I have and stuff like that, it was all to make me more confident on the water. So yeah, I think it's my time to shine. So Sarah Sunshine is in Peru right now. If I didn't stay here and edit all my content, I was going to go straight to Peru to where she was. So if you're not following Sarah_Sunshine_ on Instagram, please do. She is going to go to Machu Picchu and all kinds of cool stuff. She's promoting a lot of cool products too, and other accounts that are aware of the planet and recycling and ocean awareness and health. So I really like the things that she stands for. So if you remember her from my Bali videos. We were trying to rendezvous at least once a year. And it's with the quarantines and stuff like that and the layovers, I just don't want to head to Peru right now. It's just, I don't want to be stuck in a Spanish speaking country and fending for myself as a single female. I'll just wait it out here in Guam, you know, nothing against anybody. I just already have been stranded in a country that I don't know the language. And it was just too much for 8 months. I just don't want to do it. I feel real good where I'm at. Weather's good. Boyfriend's good. Everything's good right now. Thank you for saying I look great. Hey, WL Wong, half a day. I don't know. I'm going to do a meet and greet. I see you all the time saying half a day to me. I'm going to do a meet and greet here in Guam. So you should take my Instagram right now. It's called FML Laura. So there's 2 L's in there. FML LAURA. Sarah Sunshine is pretty awesome. She's really awesome. Yeah, always moving forward, guys. It doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, I popped a lung. It sucks. I do a lot of flying and diving in my life, and those are out. So that's just kind of like, oh my God, right now. But I'm stuck in a good place. It's a great island, great people here, great food here, beautiful beaches. It's very photogenic, so I can continue to film here. I have a boyfriend here. I feel like I have a little family that loves me. So I'm in a really good place. I haven't been happier. And yeah, I'm on a road to recovery. So we will see. I'll find out in 2 days, you know, how far I've made it since I've been discharged from the hospital. I was in the hospital for 4 days, 2 fractured ribs, 1 pop lung, no COVID. Thank God. Hey, Lawrence. So my Facebook, don't go there. I do not pay attention to it. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. But my Instagram, I love it. That's always kind of been my baby where I share everything. And I kind of took a year off from it. But I'm there. I'm posting again. It's FML Laura, FML, second L, AURA. I have a Twitter. You can find me on Twitter, LaLa Libra, or LaLa Goes Live. 1, maybe. I have 2 accounts, but the one with the 1 is the one I think I log in on. And then my TikTok is also FML Laura. So I'm starting to pay more attention to TikTok. And my TikTok account, I'm kind of just going through my cell phone right now and seeing all my old videos and practicing iMovie again and just spitting out. And iMovie has so many more songs now. When I started my channel, there was like 10 songs on iMovie. And now it has like 50 or something like that. Like there's variety. I wasn't even aware of this. So I'm playing with iMovie again on my TikTok account, and I'm just exploring. And then obviously stuff will really pop off. I'll probably have a good TikTok later, you know, once I figure out all their little editing. Every software, every editing thing, they're all completely different. They don't use the same name for everything. Like Boomerang isn't always Boomerang. Zoom isn't always Zoom. So you got to figure it all out, retrain your brain and whatever. So yeah, find me on those different platforms. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I would really like to hit 50K. 50K was my goal to hit, I believe, on New Year's, and I haven't done it. I'm at 42K. So subscribe. Subscribe. You will get a reminder. And if you watch the video, even if you skip the ads, that's how I make my money, is the ad revenue. Skip it, whatever, but try to watch it. And thank you for being here. This has been one of my longer live chats. And anyone who's a Patreon of mine, thank you very much. All my Patreon videos from this day forward, at the end, will have your name there. So if you don't want anyone to know who you are, you better send me a message, because I've already made the list. You're in the next video starting Tuesday. Hello, South Dakota. Thank you. You like my Instagram? Good, good. I do have a fans only, but it's not really like a true fans only. But if you want more bikini pictures and seductive kind of content, there's a Patreon, LaLa Libra, that's fans only. So you can go there. And all these links should be in the show notes down below if you're curious. And the calendar is for sale, but it's May. So the 5 out of 12 months of this year are gone. And the person or the company that I make the calendar through, they don't sell the calendar after so many months. So if you haven't got a calendar by now, you might not be able to get one. The calendar link is also below, so you can check that out. The calendar is discounted now since almost half the year is gone. I could promote more on Instagram. Instagram did really help me get me to where I am. But at this point, Instagram it's more of, it's not really like leverage for me anymore. You know, it doesn't really help me achieve my goals anymore. It really did once upon a time, but it doesn't anymore. And now that every last person on this planet thinks that they're an ambassador or promoter or has a promo code or whatever, I feel like it just diluted what I was doing. So I don't try to push that. I just, you know, I don't feel like it fits my needs anymore. Yeah, I would love everyone to join me again next week. Potentially this Friday, I may do another one. Can I make a camp video? I go camping all the time. I'm definitely mending. Aw, you subscribe twice if you could. Well, thank you very much. Well, guys, I had my Red Bull vodka with you guys at 9 in the morning. It is now 10:30. Does anybody have any questions for me? I thought I really covered it. Oh, one other thing I want to say. I did do this kind of like mass message to people where it was like, hey, doing a live chat in 24 hours or whatever. I kind of gave it to a lot of people on like Instagram and other places, you know, to give you the heads up. And the reason why that was like cut and paste the way it was is because it's really hard to individualize messages these days. I'm going to get carpal tunnel and I'm already doing a lot of editing and like cameraing and stuff like that. So I'm really trying to save my fingers or whatever. So I am doing a lot of copying and pasting to your messages. Don't be offended. Don't feel like I'm spamming you. It's just to definitely give you the link and to let you know that I have a link tree, and that link tree, I'm always putting new things on it. So if I'm promoting a product, like I was working with GoPro a lot, and now my calendar, the new link will always be there. Amazon wish list, my address, like there's so many things that are always changing, and it's on the link tree. So if you feel like I'm spamming you, I'm not. I'm just trying to sum up almost like 1,000 responses in one cut and paste. And it's just easier for me to like knock them out because it's really hard to like answer so many people all the time on the daily. So if you feel like I haven't responded to you in days or weeks or whatever, it's because it's just getting kind of hard with all the different platforms. So I do try to pay attention to some more than others. And on that, that's about it. Don't feel like I'm spamming you. I'm just trying to make sure I reach everyone individually as often as possible. Okay. Yeah. So life is good. Somebody asked me about sailing Nanji. No. And I think I mentioned the last live chat. So I moved off the boat and we did have plans to hang out, and I moved into Casa Loma, that great resort with the pool and all the people, my cat and my dog and everything. And I stayed there, and that's where I lived. I wanted them to come and hang out. I'm like, oh my God, I met like people our age. We're having a good time. We're having beers in the pool, playing music, come over. But I think that they were pregnant at that time, and they didn't want to release the fact yet. You know, they want to do their own time, their own storyline. And I totally understand that. So, no, I haven't really been in touch with them since I've left Malaysia. And I think that it just has to do with the whole baby and everything. I will say I went to the city where they had their baby and where their boat is and all that good stuff. And that's where I would go if I were them. I would go to Georgetown. So I'm excited for them. Their baby looks super cute. You know, I follow them as well. And I'm really happy for them. I mean, in a lot of senses, they're living the life that I've always wanted to live. So I'm like super happy for them, proud of them, and wish them all the best. Oh God, getting kicked out of Malaysia, really? So, um, as I understand it, when COVID hit and you were in Malaysia, Malaysia was mimicking what other countries were doing around it. So I understand, right? I'm not in politics. I don't freaking know. And I don't know the language. So everything on the radio and the TV was in Malay. It was not in English. So I don't really know. But, and how I understand it, Malaysia was like, okay, which is much different than surrounding countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives. They just straight up said, get out of our country. We don't like you. Don't care if you're a sailor, you're a traveler. We don't care if we said you could come. Your visa's red flagged. So you will have to give a reason if you ever want to come back to Malaysia and why you stayed that long. So if I want to come back to Malaysia, I'm going to have to say why I was there for 8 months, not one. And it's going to be because Philippines shut down, shut down. There's no direct flight to the USA. You know, it's just too far. I'm going to have to give my reason. And then, I don't know, somebody breeds it, and then maybe I can go back to Malaysia. I don't know. I don't know if I can use the Kuala Lumpur airport as a hub. I don't know. And KL airport is like LAX in the US. It's huge. It's like New York. It's like huge. Everybody flies through there to get somewhere kind of thing. So it'd be significant if you're flying Southeast Asia and suddenly you can't use KL. But yeah, the world's healing, so it might be time for them to leave KL. I mean, I don't know what the rules are these days. But that does put some pressure on having your boat in a boatyard and having a brand new baby and kind of being pushed and rushed. I mean, the laws are laws, but I would be like stressed if that was me. I am 5'5". People think I'm taller, but I'm not. All right, everyone. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this up. So there, I have made a bucket list many times of places I want to go. Sometimes I think some places are more awesome than others, or like I'd like to go there more than others. But this whole COVID thing, I just don't even know when I'm going to resume the traveling that I want to. And maybe it's God telling me to slow down with this whole lung thing. So, yeah, I'm limited, and my lung needs to bounce back, and I'm not going to really push it. I'm not going to, I mean, that's my health, right? Health is wealth. So if I got to lay low for 3 months now, I mean, I could sail back to US faster than just sitting here and recuperating. So, but there's just no sailboats here. Guam is a place sailboats go to die because there's no wind here. So purchasing here is probably not going to happen. But maybe I could just go out to the marinas and be like, hey, where are you going? Can I come? I promise it'll be fun. Yeah, be healed, be completely healed. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. I would love to go to Turkey. There's so many places I would love to go. Would love to go. All right. Well, if you are watching from Guam, just know on my Instagram, I will be posting a meet and greet soon. So if you want to come hang out with me for a happy hour, that would be awesome. Oh, Samuel, thank you. Cheers. Samuel and Sydney. Yeah, health as well. You got to take care of yourself. God bless everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. You make me feel very, very special. The hospital visit was a big one. I was very scared. It hurt really bad. Don't get a chest tube. If you do, make sure you're sedated. Because if it hurt that bad for me, it probably hurts 10 times more for you. Like, it's so crazy. It was so crazy. I felt like something was going to poke out of me, like here, but like really it was like pointing back here. It was so crazy. And then I kept trying to like sit more and more forward, trying to like move my body so I could like elongate it so the tube wouldn't touch me anymore. Oh my God. But I mean, I guess maybe the tube softened after a couple days or something like that. I don't know. But then when he pulled it out, he's just like, hum. So I'm like, and pulled it right out. And I was like, that was it? That was it? Like, going in was such a struggle. He did say, and I mean, I've never worked out in the gym until this month, right? So I'm not a bodybuilder whatsoever. I like to think I'm active. But he's just like, are you an athlete? And I like to crack jokes. It's just my way of like breaking the ice or feeling better or trying to avoid something awkward. I will crack a joke. And I was like, oh, I like to think I'm an athlete, you know? But he was serious. He's just like, I can't get this tube inside you. And so the tube gets in or whatever, and he like looks over his shoulder because my eyes are still shut. Like, I'm still trying to breathe and work and silently cry myself and shake a little bit through this situation. And he's all like, gosh, he says something along the lines of, the only other person harder than her to get a chest tube in was this bodybuilder. So I guess their muscles were really tight. It's hard to get through. Oh my God. Man, never get a chest tube. Oh my God. So I'll take it as a compliment. I'm going to ask him at my 2-day follow-up. What did you mean by that? Did you mean like really good muscles? He's like, you're really skinny. Do you work out? And I'm just like, no, I'm just like hyperactive. All right, everyone. I love you. And again, thank you for being here so much. Torture the tube is torture. Yes. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, my back like arched. I was like, ugh. I don't even remember the things I was saying, but I was like babbling. I'm pretty sure I was saying like, oh God. I should have been like, are you there yet? Gosh. Yeah, I am definitely on the mend. Like I said, I put my sports bra on today and I put my pants on today. I'm doing good. Well, thank you everyone again for being here. I'm going to wrap this up. And next week will be I like to do videos like looking back on like when I leave a country, like these are my best experiences, and do like little snippets of here and there. But I think my next video will be a lot of snippets of drone footage, and I did go on some dives here before the lung, and so there'll be some snippets of that, and it'll kind of give you an idea of what to look forward to, what I'm going to bring to you next that Guam has to offer. So it won't be like really big storyline. I might do a lot of A-roll, like sitting, like a live chat, sit and talk in this video. So it might be a little abnormal compared to the other ones, but I get a lot of mixed stuff. Like, I want to see more of you. I want to hear more than you. So I might overdo that in the next video, but also have a lot more drone footage and a lot of snippets of what's to come, and then get back on the storyline. Okay. And there's a lot of war history too. So I might elaborate more on that, because I did not I definitely brought attention to it last time I was here in Guam, but I didn't really read a book or thoroughly know everything. So I didn't like A-roll explain a lot of stuff. So I might do that now, since that's all I can do. Is talk. I can't be too like outgoing. I don't want to hurt myself. Like I said, I've been playing grandma this last week or so. All right. Well, thank you, Jester. Thank you, all my moderators, for being here. Lawrence, thank you very much. It's really nice talking to you all. Again, I really appreciate your support. I really could not have done all of this without you. And being on the road and being alone, like you guys do, make me feel less alone. And it does give me motivation and drive to continue the channel no matter what comes up. So thank you very much. And yeah, I guess I'll see you a few days from now. So if you're not on Twitter and you're not on Instagram, then you probably do not get my reminders. I spend a lot more time there. I will try to do more on the YouTube posts. For some reason, that just took the back burner, and I will try to do more of that there. That way my subscribers definitely know. Patreon, you always know first. So thank you, everyone, for being here. It's almost 11 a.m. So I'm gonna go to brunch. Okay. Bye, everybody.